What's up, party people? It's KeysDAN with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time, DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote, and maybe you could have me at your next event. You know I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Are you not entertained? Let me entertain you. Speaking of entertainment, today on the program I have James Pilcher, JP the Rockstar. Who's that? What do you mean you don't know? Oh, you know a little bit about him. Okay. Well, you're going to get to know a little bit more about JP the Rockstar in the next few minutes, so stick around. This week's shows, I will be at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas on Friday night. That's my one public show. Friday night, 8 p.m. until 12:30 in the AM. The video dance party karaoke jam. Yeah, I said karaoke. You're the stars of the show. The stage is yours for about 3 or 4 minutes, and then the stage is somebody else's. It's like a little concert starring each and every one of you. You get to be the star of your own karaoke show right there at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas, Friday night from 8 p.m. until 12:30 in the AM. They got a full bar. It's a dry county. How do they have a full bar? Don't ask questions, okay? Don't ask questions. They got the kitchens open, pool tables, pool tournament on Friday nights. So if you want to try to make some money on a Friday night and you know how to play some pool, hey, you might try your hand at the pool tournament. And while you're not playing pool, you can sing on stage right next to yours truly at the Rab, Conway, Arkansas, 8 p.m., 12:30 in the AM. Come on out. If you're anywhere in the Arkansas area, if you're anywhere in the world, take a jet plane, take a helicopter, camel, I don't know. Just get there. Get to the Rab Friday night. That's my one public show. And then on Saturdays, I got weddings. Oh, my goodness. I'm so excited about the weddings. But unless you're invited to the weddings, you cannot come. So sorry. So sorry. All right, let's get into it with James Pilcher, JP the Rockstar. I got him on Skype. So if you're listening to the audio version, check out the video version on my YouTube page. Skyping James Pilcher, JP the Rockstar, now. Oh, there he is. Oh, man. James Pilcher, JP the Rockstar. As I live and breathe, I do declare I am here in the South, so I can be Southern. What's up, man?
Yes, sir.
Look at him.
How's that better?
Just look at him. Yeah, he looks real comfortable now. I like that. I like that a lot, man. All right, James Pilcher, JP the Rockstar. All right, this is KeysDAN. Good to know you. Good to meet you. A big thanks to Ramona for putting this together. I appreciate that so much, man. Ramona's a real nice lady. She traveled all the way down here to Conway to visit with me over at the Rab and do some karaoke. I don't even think she sang, but it was nice to see her. But anyway, she told me about you, and she said, James Pilcher, man, you got to know JP the Rockstar. We have a lot of mutual friends on Facebook. How come we haven't met before, man?
I don't know, Dan. It sounds like I was looking at some of your stuff. Looks like you're doing your work down there in Conway, right? In Conway?
Oh, yeah, that's where I'm based at. Conway, Little Rock, DJLittleRock.com. Ooh, self-promotion. Look at that right away, right off the bat. Again. I will not. I'll say it at the end. I'll say it at the beginning. But this is all about you, James Pilcher, JP the Rockstar. I want you to give an idea of who you are, man. Tell the people who you are.
I'm just a regular guy who likes to write music. I've been writing since 98 or so. I have all kinds of different styles that you can imagine. So I've got a blues and I've got some, we've got some rock stuff and some country stuff and some hip hop stuff and just kind of across the board. Really just a songwriter though, man. It's kind of what I went into. But a lot of people love playing.
Let me hold you there. Are you on the phone?
Hey.
Did we
That's
get
better.
it? Did we
I
get
think
it?
we got it.
Okay.
We got it on my end. How about your end?
I don't know, man. I don't even know if I'm getting audio over here. I know I'm recording the audio on Adobe Audition, so we're good there. If I gotta splice it in, I'll splice it in. I got the video on. We got the audio. Let's talk about James Pilcher. Come on, tell the people who you are once again.
Yeah, man. I'm a local artist. Actually, I'm kind of more of a regional artist now, I'm happy to say. But I've been entertaining since '98, writing songs since '98. We do, I spend actually a lot of time in my younger years doing cover music and stuff, but still writing, and having a good time. And so recently, though, what I've been doing is just releasing a lot of original material. Is really what we've been focusing on. So I'm from Bentonville, Arkansas, Bentonville native, up here in the NWA, and yeah, man. So that's me. That's what I do.
Yeah, a lot of people start out, in doing covers, and if you want to make it in the music business, you can start out, covering other people's songs, and you can make a pretty good living as a party band. I know that you've been in a few party bands. I usually don't like to do a lot of research on these things, but at least you've been at least one party band where they do a few covers and maybe some originals. You might tell me a little bit about that, but tell me about growing up in Bentonville. Is it Bentonville or Benton? No, Benton's down south. Bentonville, right. That's the place up north, in the northwest of Arkansas. Is that right?
Yes, sir. That's exactly right.
Well, tell me about Bentonville.
Right. I mean, we're just down the road from Fayetteville, so they pretty much group us in with Fayetteville. That's northwest Arkansas. That's what they call it. So Bentonville, just to give you a little bit of backbeat about us, we're like the art mecca of the world right now. We have so much going on. Of course, most people know us for being the home of Walmart, but whatever. Anyway.
No. Give all your feelings, man. I want to get sued by Walmart. Shots fired.
Yeah. But no. But we, they obviously, help our economy around here, but what, they also, regardless, we have Crystal Bridges, which is a huge art museum. A lot of art comes out of Bentonville, so we're really proud of that.
I got to get up there to the northwest. I've never been up in that area. I've been in the far north, like Harrison and Jasper and Mountain View or Mountain Home. Mountain View, we're up there on the border, and I've been in the northeast, like Jonesboro and Batesville and the like, but I've never been in the northwest of Arkansas. I need to get out there, and I haven't been to a ball game. The Hogs.
Gotta come to a Razorback game. Yeah, you got to come to a Hog game.
I haven't even been to one in Little Rock. I know they do at least one a year, or they've been trying to do one at War Memorial Stadium. So tell me about, man, growing up in Bentonville, and right there, yes, the home of Walmart. And and you're telling me that there's art with that museum. I definitely need to check that out because I like that. But you're in Razorback country. Is there any way to steer away from Razorback country, being that close to Fayetteville?
Oh no, we don't try to hate on anybody, but or I'm not going to anyway. But. No, we're all Hog fans, man. I mean, that's what we do. We pig suey.
Yeah.
So
the whole state is hog crazy, hog wild. No matter what school you go to. I guess the closest school I'm at is UCA. I can almost see it from outside my office here. Is University of Central Arkansas. And no matter if you go to the University of Central Arkansas, home of the Bears, you're still a Hog fan as well. The whole state is so dedicated to their team, and I'm just brand new to it. I'm been here since 2009. I'm from Miami, so I don't know how deep that goes. Even if the Hogs don't win a lot of games, if they're 1-9, if they're 5-5 or whatever it is, I don't know a lot of sports. You're still behind your Hogs. It's great.
I know that we haven't done, so great in football, but, which is, what everybody loves. We love to watch. But I mean, Arkansas, a lot of people don't know, if you're not a baseball fan, you don't realize that we're one of the best baseball teams in the nation. You don't realize that our track and field is one of the best programs in the nation. And of course, the university is going to do whatever they have to do to make sure that our football program is one of the best in the nation. And our basketball organization has been just off the roof. So anyway, there's your Razorback plug right there. No,
it's still part of the SEC, the Southeastern Conference, and it has to be. A lot of football players come out of SEC, and the Razorbacks are no stranger to having their own football players. In fact, when I first got here to Arkansas, one of the first radio stations I worked at was in Little Rock. It was 93.1 The Source, and it's no longer there. But I worked with Pat Bradley, who's a basketball player, Razorback, and Clint Sterner, who was a Razorback quarterback, and then Michael Smith was on the show as well. I did mornings with Pat Bradley and Wes Moore, and then afternoons with Clint Sterner and Pat and Michael Smith, which was great. Awesome. It was so good, and I did get to learn a little bit, and I got a little appreciation for it. But I couldn't imagine growing up there. And did you go to a lot of Hog games, I'm guessing?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. One of the things about Bentonville is, it used to be, now, of course, my mother graduated from Bentonville High School, and my grandmother and grandfather went to a little, country school that's now a church nowhere. So it used to be an old farming town. But, as just from growing up, just since I was a kid, the growth has been crazy. It has just totally changed. So, Bentonville's definitely changed a ton. And continues to change. We don't just have Walmart either. We've got JB Hunt in Northwest Arkansas, which is one of the largest trucking companies, if not the largest trucking company in the world. Tyson's Food, is based out of Springdale, which is right next to Fayetteville. So, Northwest Arkansas, we got a lot of stuff.
That's pretty cool, man. That's good, man. I like a little education, a little tourism. If James Pilcher, JP the Rockstar, if you were given a tour of Bentonville, you've already told me about the museum there. But what's a little kid? You're in school. What are you studying in grade school? And what are your interests as you're getting through and becoming the man that you are? Did you go when you're in high school? Did you have extracurricular activities? Did you play any sports or instruments at the time?
So I did. I played sports until I was 14, and then I at 14 started playing the guitar, and I started traveling doing blues music. So I actually kind of, you wouldn't say quit school if not for a lack of a better word, homeschool theoretically. And so but I was traveling around the southern United States playing blues music. And by the time I was 14, 15. And so, which was awesome. But, so yeah, I forgot where I was going with that. Dan.
No, but you gave up sports, man. What kind of sports were you playing until 14?
I played football and basketball.
No kidding. Mm-hmm. Were you pretty good at it?
Yeah. My coaches were super upset whenever they learned that I was leaving to go out of town because, I was having fun,
Yeah, that's what I was leading up to. But you learned how to play guitar, and I'm guessing the girls started coming around, and a guy that plays guitar is pretty appealing to the people. I'm sure if you pull out a guitar, I guess it can go both ways. If you're that guitar guy at a party, you could be that jerk in the corner with the guitar, and all the girls are hanging around you, and all the other guys are all upset because, hey, how come he's getting all that attention? Well, was that you?
I don't know. I don't know if I'd go that far. It's funny, Dan, but I didn't really do a whole lot of that. We would do that if we were, sitting around hanging out or whatever, but like mostly with the family, and then, I performed with Arkansas kids. So it was almost like it was almost like another sport for me, if you will, I mean, that's kind of how I handle it. I had rehearsal time and things that, we had to put in and work that we did. And then, and then to go to that. So,
well, 14 years old, man, that's a man coming into his own. You're trying to broaden your horizons. You're not yet able to drive. Who gave you that guitar, and who gave you the idea that you could even play that guitar?
So that's great that you asked that. I come from a long musical family. So my grandmother taught all of us how to play. All of my aunts and uncles, my great aunts, my great uncles, my grandparents. I mean, all used to play. There were 10 of my grandparents, or 10 of my grandparents. I'm sorry. My grandmother had 10 siblings, and five of her, five were daughters, and five were boys, or however you want to say that. And so the boys had a band. My great grandparents were music teachers, and the boys had a band. Well, when the boys would leave, the girls would jump in their own band. Long story short, she taught, my grandmother taught, all of my aunts and uncles, and then all of my brothers. I have a lot of brothers and stuff, but we all play. It's just kind of a big music thing. So we all played music in my family. It's just kind of one of those things. So, well,
did you ever think about starting a family band, Partridge Family, a la?
Well, so my oldest brother, who actually I give a lot of credit to because he really coached me on the guitar when I was coming up and helped me, guide me along with a lot of the stuff that I do now. And he actually still plays in the band with me. So 100 Proof or the JP the Rockstar stuff, he's always there with us. And so he's my oldest brother. And then my youngest brother he was one of the founding members who played bass with us, whenever we were younger and stuff. And so, I love, my family supports me. I'm very fortunate for that, but they're filled with musicians doing their own thing too.
So they all play solo, but you do come together as 100 Proof. Who were the founding members of the 100 Proof band?
So the founding members were myself, and then my oldest brother, Chris Burnett, my youngest brother, Parker Pilcher, and then we had a drummer named John Spursfeld, who was a really good friend of ours. And so that was the original members. Now we've been through a bunch of different members, but we love them all. They're all like family, and so, it's been a journey, man, to this point, Well,
I mean, so tell me about 14, going out and playing the blues. Were you doing that on your own, or were you playing that with a group of kids? You said you had Arkansas Youth. Was that a band?
No. So no, I had started out whenever I was 13 with the Little League of Entertainers, the Arkansas American Kids is what they call them, the Little League of Entertainers. And so we did some stuff on a regional. I made myself, in 13, I worked my way through local competition, state competition, into the national competition. And then, but then after that, whenever I turned 14, I actually moved to Fort Myers, down in the Fort Myers area in Florida there, with my father, where I started. And then I actually had professional musicians who were adults that backed me. And then we did tours like on the Southern United States. You have to keep in mind, this was back whenever Kenny Wayne Shepherd was coming out, and Johnny Lang was coming out, so the blues kid thing was kind of a big deal. And so that's kind of what I was doing at that age,
Man, I was having a conversation about Johnny Lang, with a buddy of mine, and I'm guessing, I mean, the way he performs, I'm a fan, man. He puts it all out there. But when you're playing the blues, I think of B.B. King, where he plays guitar and then sings, and then plays guitar and then sings, so he can really concentrate on one thing at a time, which makes you great. And I think Johnny Lang pretty much does the same thing, where he stops playing the guitar so he can really punch out those vocals. But I'm sure he's got a little oxygen sitting there next to him, because man, it looks like he's really putting an effort into it. But is that who you're listening to as you're coming up and you're trying to you're coming into your own? Kenny Wayne Shepherd and Johnny Lang.
No, actually, no. Those were just kind of like the competitors at my age. Whenever I was younger, I would say competitors, but that's not really. Of course, that was just kind of what was going on.
Contemporaries.
My influences were like Jimi Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan, and all those greats. Those were my influences. And then, whenever on the blues side of things, anyway, I was a huge B.B. King fan. Love Buddy Guy. I don't know if you ever heard any of his stuff. He's amazing.
Come on. I love him. Love him.
So I had Lucky Peterson. If you're into the blues, I got to play a few shows with Lucky Peterson too. On the Queen of Beale Street, if you know who she is, I played with her before. So I got to do a lot of fun stuff with the blues thing, man. I mean, it was a good time.
Man, these are all people that come through my Facebook feed, my Instagram feed, and they're still doing it after all these years. But what years did you graduate high school? Let's start there.
2002.
2002. You get out of high school, you got guitar under your wing. You've been playing for 3, 4, 5 years by this time. What kind of gigs are you? You're in Fort Myers. When you graduate, did you graduate in Fort Myers or Bentonville?
No, so by the time I turned 15, I got homesick and I came home. I was a kid. I ran back home to hang out with my friends. It didn't take long being around nothing but adults and blues and in and out of bars that I couldn't even hang out in, to be like, forget this, I'm going back home. So I came back home and finished out, here in Bentonville. Bentonville, Rogers area. So
very good, man. I'm familiar with Fort Myers. It's a place where people still go to retire for the most part. But I've done quite a few weddings. Hey, no shots fired on Fort Myers. I'm a Florida boy myself, born and raised in Miami, Florida Keys. KeysDAN, that's where that came from. So you get an idea of where that moniker gets hanged on me. But Fort Myers, you could only handle a year, and you had to get back home. And that's something is whatever you're running away from is generally what you end up going back to. So you had to get back to your roots, James Pilcher, JP the Rockstar, and you came back to your friends. Do you still keep in touch with a lot of the people that you went to high school with?
I would say that absolutely, through social media especially, it's really difficult because I'm not the best at answering all the messages and stuff, but I try really hard but it is nice, sometimes whenever I still do some local events, charitable events or something like that, I'll get to see some of my, old friends from school and that's really neat to be able to catch up with people in person and stuff like that. And so, I enjoy that, it's we did a big mountain biking is a huge thing here in Bentonville. We have tons of trails. And so, I did a drug awareness concert. This has been about 4 weeks ago or so, 4 to 6 weeks ago, in Bentonville, and I got to see a bunch of old friends of mine from school. Getting out and riding and just trying to kind of, trying to raise money for those guys that are out there in the community, trying to help protect our kids, who are either addicted to drugs or have problems, whatever, they can do to help them. Anything like that, I'm always willing to support and give my time to, so.
Man, I do miss bike riding. What kind of bike did you have?
Man, I don't know. Whenever I was a kid, I had a bike. I haven't had a bike in a long time, man. I don't do the mountain biking thing. A lot of these people do. Everybody's got mountain bikes around here, but I just don't. I'm a fat guy, Dan. You're not going to find me out there riding up and down in the hills.
No, but that's some of the best exercise that I ever had. I had a Rally Technium back in the 90s when I was a kid growing up, in Florida Keys. And we had, the bike trails, and we had a lot of bike places to go, and even biking on the beach. And that was a whole lot of fun. Unfortunately, that bicycle got stolen, and I never bought another one. And yes, I got fatter and fatter and fatter. I need to get back to exercising, but I do appreciate the biking. And yeah, I guess we all had bikes when we were kids. I had the Free Spirit with the banana seat, but the Rally Technium was a pretty big tubed mountain bike type thing that can handle my weight and me pounding on it while I'm jumping off a little, but
yeah.
I mean, you said that was something that you did, and you did that with a charity event just recently. But before we go recently, all right, after school to kind of hone your craft. After you get out of high school, you're done with the homeschooling. Do you go to college, or do you go to the School of Hard Knocks, get out on the road with a band?
Yeah, so I went to work, Dan, is what happened. I went to work in construction, and we formed the band 100 Proof. That was whenever we formed that band. And so I was about 17, I think. And then through connections, worked our way into bars, maybe, not being necessarily old enough, but we still got in there. You can't really pull that off anymore, but, we still could. And so started building a base there, and spent years locally just building, playing to our base, and fortunately, we got lucky enough to have a good following. But of course, we did that through cover music, like you said. People loved our originals, but we got their attention with the cover songs.
Right.
So,
well, 100 Proof is a great name for a band at a bar. That's fantastic. Right. That was good thinking on whoever came up with that name. Who came up with the name? Give the shout out.
Yeah, we did. I'm not sure exactly who. This has been many, many years ago, but I know that whenever we were talking about coming up with a name, we already, just from my experience being out on the road, I already knew that our job wasn't to play good music. Our job was to sell liquor, So, so we wanted to kind of cater to that idea. That wore off, you get older and you're like, yeah, and then you get more into the art of music, and becoming an artist in the craft. But, back then it was, we want to get paid. Well, we want to get free beer is really what we wanted, So that's what we did, man. We just we're marketing to that. Hey, come out, party, get drunk, let's drink, let's have fun, let's listen to some good music, and let's just, play our hearts out and have fun. And that was easily relatable, for people who are in their, early, 20s, late or mid or 20s, or whatever,
Yeah, well, don't put the word out that you'll play for free beer, man, because you can't pay your rent and you can't pay your car note with the free beer. Just cash.
No, we haven't
cash
done that.
Good.
We haven't done that in years, right? We haven't done that in years, man. We still get free beer, though. I mean, but that's all part of the negotiating process,
Oh, but oh my goodness, how many people want to hire a really good band such as 100 Proof, and they want to, hey, tell you what, it'll be good exposure if you come out and play for us for free. No, I'm already exposed. You don't want me exposing myself anymore. I need money. I need cash, moolah, greenbacks. All right, tell me about what's Sugar Creek Outlaws. What is that? That's like a little parenthetical name for your band.
Yeah, so that's like our outlaw country stuff. That it's a record that actually hasn't been released that we have. And we might start kind of releasing some of it here and there. But that's what we were doing in 2019, right before COVID hit. We were really pushing the Sugar Creek Outlaws and doing a lot of stuff kind of regional with that. So we were down your way a couple of times, too, in 2019, I think, actually, with the Sugar Creek Outlaws. But it was that outlaw country kind of red dirt sound, that was really kicking. I mean, it's still kicking. Still, people. There's still a huge fan base for that. But that was what we were doing in 2019, and then COVID hit, and then everything kind of went.
Well, tell me, when did the 100 Proof actually start? How long have you been running that band?
Man, since 2000 and. It would have been 2001, I believe.
Wow! So you're right off the bat. That's the band that you've been building with, that you've been making music with. When did you start putting out the originals, and who was writing that, or was that a group effort?
So most of the originals that we did with 100 Proof and Sugar Creek Outlaws, were ideas that maybe I had written, and then I brought to the guys. If my brother Chris would write a verse, I'd throw him on a verse, or my buddy Jerry, when we were really young, who also played bass in our band, wrote a bunch of different verses with me in the past, and stuff. And then it was just this year in January whenever I started the JP the Rockstar thing, kind of my solo project, which is kind of like hip hop, and it's a little bit different,
And that's what we're going to get to, man. Oh, my goodness. Did you make a hard turn left or right, man? Or just you went in a totally different direction, like Monty Python used to say. And now for something completely different. Bam! What made you go hippie hoppy when you were a rock star, man? You're playing guitar. You're singing. Because you're the vocalist, right? You play guitar.
Yes,
you play and sing?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing in the videos, and even on your hip hop videos, you're using some of the old footage from your Rockstar days, and you're doing the hip hop stuff. Hold on, wait a minute, let me put some boom in it. How did you come up with the idea that, hey, you know what, James Pilcher, JP the Rockstar, I can be a hip hop artist? When did you start rapping?
So that's funny, the 100 Proof, we have always done so many different genres, and we've done old hip hop covers, forever. So I mean, we've been rapping forever, because that's just part of entertainment, and part of the different genres, because I just am a lover of music, So my oldest son, turned 13. He came to me and said, "Dad," no, it was whenever he turned 12. "Dad, I want to be I figured out what I want to do. I want to be a rapper." And I said, "Okay, let's do it. We'll do it together." And so I started working on the hip hop stuff. This is like late 2020, kind of started working with him. And then, of course, like most 12-year-olds do, it was, never mind, I want to be a blogger. So,
all right, but you start with him, and how do you mean you're starting with him? Are you making beats for him, are you finding beats? What do you need to start to become a rapper besides the gift of gab?
Well, right. So, honestly, it's kind of interesting. So you can buy beats. You can buy them. You can buy pre-made beats. You can have people make beats for you, and there's different licensing agreements for all that jive. Or you can choose to produce your own beats. And so it just depends. Now with Trey, when he was thinking he was wanting to get into it, we were more working on lyrical application and working on syllables, phrasing, and what they call flow. With him, just trying to kind of get him into that habit, because in hip hop it's all about flow, and it's all about what are you saying. I think one of the reasons why you see a bunch of these rappers who kind of get lost in the mix with all the other rappers, they're all saying the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, same thing with the country stars, same thing with the rock stars, same thing with the pop stars. If I hear "Heart" and "Apart" one more time from a boy band, you're tearing up my heart, and because we're apart, oh no, and then a girl in a country song, oh really, another truck, this is what I'm gonna get, thanks pal. No, you don't, you can't be cliche. The best hip hop artists are the ones that actually say stuff. I mean, you could always be like we were back in the 80s when I first started, and steal somebody else's tracks and sample. It's just a sample. I'm not stealing your whole song. It's just a sample. Man, we got in a lot of trouble for that, let me tell you.
Yeah, no joke. Well, and people still do some of the sampling,
Well, now with using Pro Tools or using Adobe Audition, you could sample somebody's beat, duplicate it a bunch of times, change the pitch on it. You'll never know it was somebody else's beat. So you really never have to beat your own drum, strum your own guitar, play your own keyboard ever. You could still do it, but I don't recommend it.
I think that they say that. I don't recommend it either, but I think that in the copyright rules, if I remember correctly, if you change 1/3 of a song, then it's no longer covered under copyright. There's three parts of copywriting are melody, chord composition, and lyrics. So that's what you get, with copywriting. So all you got to do is change one of those three, and all of a sudden, bam,
Well, so that's what my good acquaintance Vanilla Ice tried to do with the Queen song. Hey, look, I added another beat to it. It's not your song. No, he didn't get away with that. Not even a little bit. Oh, but it's good to come up with your own original music. I'm not good at making my own beats. I used to have Fruity Loops. I guess now it's called FL Studio. And I'd play with the little tabs and make my own little drum sounds, and that was kind of fun. But what were you using to make your own beats?
FL Studio, Fruity Loops.
Okay, Fruity Loops. That seems like it's the industry standard. But you said Trey? Is that his name?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Oh, is he the third?
He is. Yes, sir.
That's fantastic, man. My little brother has a deuce, but he was kind of hoping that there's a Trey coming soon. But yeah, I like that. Instead of calling him the third, you call him a Trey, and that's fantastic. Yeah. But Trey, he thought he could do some rapping. Did he have some flow? Did you put any of that on a mixtape? Can we find that on SoundCloud?
So funny you should ask. I asked him the other day, hey man, we wrote a song. Of course we have a song, you know, but it hasn't been released. I'm like, come on man, when are you going to want to do this? You know, when are you going to want to release it? Like I said, he was really interested in it for a minute. And then, you know, just like any other preteen, you know, his mind is over here, over there. And I was never forced into music. We don't force our kids into music. You know, we just let them do it whenever they're ready and how they want to do it. So, and I have a 6-year-old Canaan, man, and he's all about the music. All he wants to do is play all my guitars and sing. And, you know, it's just really funny, but, you know, so we just let him ride the wave, man. You know, maybe we'll release that soon. I was talking to him about the other day, and he seemed like he was kind of getting interested in maybe trying to finish that track. So that would be fun. You know?
I mean, all we can do as parents is give the kids the tools, and then, you know, let them figure out what they want to do with it. So yeah, that's a nice father-son thing that you can do. Keep it in the family. And you're keeping the tradition of your family alive. You said, you know, that most of your family comes from a music background, and I fully believe it's in the blood, man. Almost all the musicians and the creators musically that I talk to have had music in their background. Now, who's giving you the records? You said you have an older brother. Who's giving you those first records, those Hendrix records, and the other records that are influencing you? Are you going out and making your own money and buying the record yourself at 14, or is somebody playing a record for you?
My mother was a huge blues fan. And so my oldest brother turned me on to Alice in Chains, and I loved Alice in Chains. I loved Nirvana, and those were like the first people that you know, old like Metallica, Kill 'Em All. Those were the first people I started playing guitar to. And then my mother turned me on to the blues, and whenever she turned me on to like Stevie Ray Vaughan and Jimi Hendrix and Buddy Guy and those guys, the emotion in it and all of the things that encompass the blues, and of course, as being a young guitarist, you know, I was just taken away by it all. So that's all of a sudden I went over there, you know, to that. And so yeah, it was my mother. She really. She's a blues lover, still a blues lover. I mean, she still loves blues so much.
Yeah, you're naming some bands that really make crowds move. You know, me as a DJ who can only push buttons. I had guitars until they got stolen, and I have a keyboard and I have harmonica. Oh, my harmonica! I just found it yesterday, and it was broken. It was at the bottom of a box, and I went, oh no. But you know, I don't play a lot of instruments. All I can do is promote other people such as yourself. And I know Friday night I'm gonna play some of this JP the Rockstar. I'm gonna play some of your hip hop at the Rab, and people are gonna go, who's that? I'm gonna say, that's JP the Rockstar. You should look him up. You know, find him on the Instagram. But you know, and then support him, and then go find him at a show when you're hanging out there in Northwest Arkansas and around the area. But I mean, I love promoting people. That's why I got into radio. You're never going to be rich getting into radio. All you can do is promote people, talk to interesting people, and get people's stories. And that's what I'm doing with you, man. I'm finding out the man behind the music. Anybody can go online and find out, you know, and listen to one of your tracks, you know, be it the rock stuff or the hip hop stuff. Man, it's still that back in what is it, the 2000s, there was really a mixing of hip hop and metal, and it was a whole thing. Now with that 100 Proof, what are your top 10 cover songs?
I don't know. That's a good one. Right now, I would say anything by Sublime. We've been doing Sublime for a long time, and a lot of people love that sound. We do Uptown Funk by Bruno Mars, and that's still a crowd favorite. What would be Always by or Never Call Me by My Name by David Allan Coe is a huge crowd favorite. We do a song called Colt 45 by Afro Man. That's a huge crowd favorite. Feels Like Rain is a Buddy Guy song that I do kind of my own way or whatever, and we seem to get a lot of love for that one. There's a lot of different, so I mean, just a lot of different tracks that we do. Of course, anything original, fortunately, our fans who come and see us regularly love it. So we're really lucky to get that support. When we go to places like Tulsa, we have a small following in Tulsa, but we go to places that maybe don't know us, is really fun because we get to, show them what we've got, and that's fun. It's always great to meet new people, like you said, gain new fans who are real music lovers who really, appreciate, what we're doing and stuff. And so that's kind of what I think my favorite thing is, about the whole deal is just meeting people and being able to connect with people, through music. So.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, man, support your local artist. And after a show, go show them some love at the merch table. I mean, if you could buy a sticker, if you could buy a T-shirt, that's great. But as long as you can go and at least shake their hand and tell them how much you appreciate the music and that it moved you in a certain kind of way, man, that's gotta be so satisfying for you. Yeah, buy some merch, okay? Buy a CD if you can, a T-shirt, show it off to everybody. Look what I got, and you don't have one. You need to go get one. Yeah, tell everybody about the merch. But so when you're going out,
shaking hands, like you said, when someone comes up to you, and I don't mean to interrupt you, I apologize. But whenever someone comes up to you, like you said, thank you for buying our merch and thank you for supporting us. But when someone comes up and says, "Man, you did that one song and it really affected me," that's where it's like, "Oh yeah, thank you." I just released a song literally before I hopped on here with you, a new song called Eulogy.
Just saw it. Just saw that video. Just watched that video. Hey, I'm coming to your merch table. That song moved me. Go ahead. Tell me what it's all about.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's, this weekend, I wrote and recorded that this weekend. It just broke my heart listening to how we just sent all our kids back to school. And now, all the kids who we thought weren't, going to get COVID, weren't going to get all that, are now sick and just getting, it just broke my heart. And I just felt compelled to write something, and it was a difficult song to write. I'm not trying to play any kind of a political game with anybody. I posted on there, listen, I'm not trying to tell you whether you should get shot or not get shot, and I'm not willing to even get into that. That's people's personal stuff with their family. But to see what's going on with our kids right now, it hurts. I felt like I had to release that song. So,
well, I'm going to go ahead and tell you now, if there's no religious, if there's no medical problems, get the shot, man. I got the Moderna running through my veins. I felt like Superman when I got that second shot. I was like, what? I don't have to wear a mask? I can go out and play? Oh, yeah, no problem. This is great. Now, of course, I will wear the mask when I'm at an establishment that requires it, or if there's a bunch of people around. Yeah, I'm okay with that, man. I want to help other people. I want to protect other people. I don't want anybody getting hurt. I don't want anybody getting sick on my account. But yeah, man, we went through a year last year, man, and you're one of the hundreds of people that are writing about it because, yeah, that affected us all at the same time. That's a shared experience. And I like the take that you gave on it. You gave a eulogy for the people that have passed, that have gone, that died, Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dan. I appreciate it. Thanks for checking it out and listening to it too.
Dude, I saw that it was today. It's got 36 views. It was a mere hours ago that it was posted on YouTube. So find JP the Rockstar on YouTube. It's easy, man. JP the Rockstar. You're well branded. It's out there.
Thank you. One of the things, going back to talking about JP the Rockstar and hip hop, one of the things I'm really trying to do different that hip hop doesn't have is essentially, if you think about it, like the old blues guys. You were just talking earlier about how you would sing a little, play a little, sing a little, play a little. And I think that hopefully as I move forward in this, my plan is to incorporate that. Maybe rap a little, play a little, sing a little, play a little. And really bring that dynamic, something a little bit different, and bring that dynamic into it. And then use my experience in songwriting and try to kind of play to that too, so that's kind of where I'm at with that as far as being creative and thinking along the lines of, being original, not being, like anyone else.
Well, a mere 7 months ago, I mean, there was okay, how many podcasts started up over the last year? How many creators that were stuck inside for the most part? Yeah, you had hopefully you still had your construction job to keep the bills paid and being an essential worker that you were able to at least make a living. But, a lot of the creators were stuck inside. The bars were closed. I know for the first couple of months, I didn't have any DJ jobs. I was like, I guess I'm going to go through my extra cheese savings. So I had to rely on other jobs, other little things. Thankfully, the podcast kept going. I started this in 2019. So it already had some kind of a following. But I'm glad that you had this outlet. I'm guessing that you have a little home studio set up, microphone, computer. What's your setup at the house?
Well, so I actually work with a professional studio for just until recently, whenever the sound engineer, Mikey Lewis, big shout out to Mikey Lewis, by the way, but he had some issues and had to move. And so that was unfortunate for me because he was a Full Sail graduate and had, Pro Tools HD, and he ran, he had a full basement in his home with, just he was amazing, and you can hear it on the recordings. So this song that I just released today, and the song I released 2 weeks ago called, I don't even remember the name of it. I write so many.
Feel the Change.
Feel the Change. Thank you. Those two were actually done at home. So
okay.
So yeah, I have a microphone. I have a Rode NT1A that I use, and then for my vocals, and then an SM57 for the instruments, and then I run Pro Tools and just Fruity Loops and do the thing. What I need to do is probably send my stuff off to have it mastered, by more professional people who are better at that than me.
You said your friend Mike, he had to move away, but is he still in the business? Can he still mix your stuff down for you?
Right. So we're just kind of waiting for him to get set up. And then as soon as he gets set up, then we're back at it. Fortunately, with the way things are today, we can just send a track over back and forth. And so
absolutely,
we're waiting when we get set up. So
no, it's nice that you're giving credit where credit is due. And we all need a mic in our lives to kind of help us edit things down. Cause you could do, I'm sure for under $1,000, you can make yourself a little demo, but it takes a mic, an engineer with a discerning ear, and maybe not even discerning, not just discerning, but also an impartial ear, somebody who has no skin in the game, because you're gonna think, oh, this baby's perfect. No. Let me shave some of this off. Let me move some of this over this way. It'll sound a whole lot better, especially if he's been doing it a long time. Is that the kind of thing that Mike will do for you?
Yeah, and the thing about those sound engineers who are super professional, like Mikey Lewis or Darren Crisp from Crisp Recording Studios in Fayetteville here. The thing about those guys is when they start to master your stuff, the mixing's already done. When they're mastering, they're looking at sound frequencies. What sound frequencies are killing the ear, what's unpleasant, and removing those things. So that's really what they do.
Yeah, with me, when I mix and master the podcast, I just make sure that all the levels are pretty much
right. Yeah, nothing's clipping.
Yeah, and it's easy with Adobe Audition these days. I mean, because when I was doing it reel to reel back in the day, yeah, I know how to splice. Mm-hmm. I know how to actually cut and splice tape. That's, back in the 80s when I was doing that, and then, CDs and cart machines and trying to do things on tape. It's so much easier, but I know that there's back and forth with, you lose a lot of the sound quality when you do it digitally rather than analog. Have you ever recorded anything analog?
Yeah, we recorded, it's been a long time, on an old reel-to-reel machine, just for the effect. Now, when they bounced it to the board, but we actually did the original recording on a reel-to-reel just for that effect, which was really cool, especially when you're talking about like blues, like old blues stuff, because that's what people were doing. It was a lot of fun, that was awesome. And then they bounced through on an analog board, and mixed it like they did in the old days, whenever, hey, the guitar solo's coming up at, 137 or whatever, let's make sure to kick that up 2 dB or whatever, those sort of things. And so, yeah, that was awesome.
Oh my gosh, I just got ancient when you said back in the old days. Yeah, back in the 1900s. Yeah.
And I've been at it a long time too. I remember taking and not super long, but it's funny. I want to record an album and release it on 8-track.
Dude, I was just thinking about my first 3 8-tracks. I had 3 when I was growing up. I had Eagles' Greatest Hits, one of the greatest records ever made, Stevie Wonder's Superstition, and Steve Martin, Wild and Crazy Guy. Those were the 3 8-tracks that I grew up with, and I had one of those hi-fis that had an 8-track player in there and a record player. And that was when I was just a little baby DJ, probably about the same age as you were when you picked up a guitar. I was playing records and going, oh, I like music. I want to play for, I want to play for the people. I want to play other people's music for them, and yeah. So it becomes a symbiosis. When I was first on radio, I used to have a lot of people like yourself, James Pilcher, JP the Rockstar, and bring in your records. Hey, can you play this on the radio? So it was a nice symbiotic relationship that we had. And I'm glad that we're talking now, man. I want people to go and learn more about JP the Rockstar and 100 Proof. Now, as we're breaking out of the coronavirus, man, are you going back on the road with the band? Do you have any gigs lined up?
We've been very busy. We have all kinds of stuff. We're booked out through the rest of this year, fortunately. We're starting to book for the first quarter of 2022. Now, locally, for us, I don't know. I wouldn't say that we've been shielded from the coronavirus, but boy, it just seems like recently it's really been, like over the past couple of weeks, it's really been hitting home really hard for us around here.
So you got a lot of cases that are like people that are getting sick.
Yeah, people. I have several friends who have passed away or have been put on. Who have spent time on ventilators. I have 2 friends right now that literally within the last week came off their ventilators. So we're very thankful for that. Just praying for people, and it's just been crazy around here lately, man. I'm telling you, it wasn't last year, 2020. Everybody was taking precautions, but for some reason we just weren't getting it like we are now. Now it's horrible. Bentonville is leading the state in school cases too among children, COVID cases among children, just in the first week of school. So, it's been hurting us around here pretty bad, man.
Well, I know I switch back and forth from NPR to KRN here, and I listen to. I know that Governor Hutchinson has been on the radio almost every day talking about, I'm sorry, our state is doing so bad. I feel like, that's the political part, man. People are leery about that. People don't know, how do you sift through the lies to find the truth about, is the vaccine good for you? Is it bad for you? Now that the FDA has approved it, does that mean that it's perfect? Is the FDA lying to me? It's hard to sift through, man. It really is. And I feel bad for the people that can't find that light, and I know when I'm in the city, people got their masks on, and then I move further out into the country, I haven't seen a mask, in the sticks ever. I don't think they knew what a mask was, but that's just country folk versus city folk, and that's the way it is, man. But tell me your take on that.
You know what? It's really difficult. Like you said, Dan, what do you think? You're like, okay, do I trust the shot? Do I not? Do I take my chances though? But here's the problem. And I think that it's a personal choice. It really is a personal choice. I chose to get the shot, but I have my significant other who chose not to. and we didn't fight about that. It was just a personal choice, you know. I think that with the way that everything is now, it's I can tell you that in our small community in Northwest Arkansas, things have ramped up so much over the year that it is just really people's opinions are all of a sudden changing. I've seen people who were advocate against the shot, lose someone, watch their families get sick, and change their mind. And I've seen posts from personal friends who come out and said, I was against the shot, but after everything, I'm going and getting it. And I think that, like I said, I mean, it's a personal choice. I know people who have I know people who got corona, went to the hospital, were on oxygen, and just thinking of the person off the top of my head, but still thankful she didn't get the shot. So, you know, I think that it's hard, like you said, to sift through everything. And everybody just kind of has to make up their own mind. And it's not my it's not my place to try to judge anybody or influence anyone.
Yeah.
You know, it's a personal decision. I mean, so
yeah.
I'm a songwriter, not a medical guy.
No, I get it, man. And, you know, I was a paramedic for a little while, and I remember just enough medicine to be hurtful to myself and probably others around me. That was in my 20s, way back when. The 90s were good, man. But so yeah, I agree, man. I take that to heart. I try to be even-handed. Try to see people's views on things. And you're writing this song, you're putting this out there. That's your view, man. You don't want to see anybody die. And you're sad for the people that have already died. And that's, you know, even if you say you're not political, that's a political statement. And for me, I agree. I don't want to see other people die. I don't want that to be a thing. We're going to get through this, man. We're already seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. And there's like, you know, I know it looks like, I say minor setbacks, but having even one loss of life, man, that's a major setback, man. I know somebody's missing a dad, a brother, a mom, a sister. Somebody's missing somebody. And I feel bad for that, man. But, hey, it hit home for you, Bentonville. I hope everything goes good there. The state of Arkansas, the world even. I mean, you know, get the shot or go through some antibodies, something, man. We got to get through this. They did it in 1918. We could do it now with our technology, right? Yeah.
Right, yeah. Whatever.
Right, yeah.
You know, like I said, I think it's a personal choice. I'll let everybody make their own decision, but I'm with you, man. I mean, something's going to have to happen. We got to figure something out. You know, I think the most important thing that we can probably try to do is not fight and argue about silly things.
Yeah.
I think if we could figure out a way to not do that, I think it'd help us. But that's human nature, you know.
All right, man. Let's wind this thing down. Where do people find you? Where do people find out about those shows? What's the next show coming up? I'll probably put this up probably on the weekend. So what's the next show after that coming up? And where can people find you online?
September 4th, we're at the Guitar Meteor Gallery in Bentonville, downtown Bentonville. It's a beautiful place, an old theater. It's got balcony seating. It's a very beautiful place. We're there with the Jeff Gordon Band, who is a local blues group, and they're really good. So we'll be there on the 4th of September. You can find me at JP the Rockstar on Twitter, Facebook, and that other one.
YouTube, Instagram.
You can find me YouTube, Instagram, right? All those, yeah. JP the Rockstar. Fortunately, there's not a whole lot of JP the Rockstars out there, so I'm kind of easy to find. So yeah, look me up, man, and shoot me a line, you know, and check out my stuff. You know, it's different. I always like to think that hopefully you might not like one song, but maybe you'll find a song of mine, different stuff, you know. So
well, I mean, there's definitely it's a familiarity in some of the raps that you have, and I hear the flow that it's very similar to other people's flows, but then other songs, you don't have one specific style when you're doing your raps, because you do have that trip hop, that's one rhythm, that people have taken to heart, but then you have other rhythms as well. Do you have different influences that have really, you've taken it to heart when you do the rap stuff?
Yeah, sometimes I like to keep it. Sometimes I like to do the old school style because I think the old school is real smooth and real kind of fun. And then of course, the nowadays stuff is real trappy and real broken up, kind of like you're talking about. And then of course, I always want to just try to be myself. So I'm always just trying to kind of make sure that I'm sounding like me too. So, it just depends. It just depends. It's just a feeling, go with it. That's kind of what I think. But like you said, I try to change it up. I try to be different, and not just stick to one thing. So
I think your old school is different than my old school. What's your old school? Name maybe 3 guys who's old school.
The Humpty Dance by Digital Underground.
Shock G, rest in peace, man.
Yeah, absolutely, Shock G. Who else? Oh man, old school. Now of course, you're gonna make fun of me for this one, but Dr. Dre and Tupac were kind of like the old school.
There's no making fun there. There is no making fun. They are legendary.
As old school as Run DMC. Of course, my favorite probably act was the Beastie Boys because I love the Beastie Boys.
License to Ill, man. I played that record over and over and over and over and over until I had to buy a whole nother record. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Dude, I overplayed License to Ill. But my favorite is Heavy D. Always.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Heavy D. Heavy D cut a track with BB King on one of his albums one time, actually.
Rest in peace, Dwight. Rest in peace, BB King. Oh yeah. My goodness. And we just lost Charlie Watts today.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, man. The Rolling Stones.
Yes. Oh wait, I did hear that. That's right. The drummer, yes sir. Yeah, he's the drummer, right? Charlie Watts.
Oh man. Yeah. It's tough, man. I wish people could live longer, and I think that was one of the underlying things of this is I don't want anybody to die ever, but then that would cause a whole population problem, and I think they explained that in the Avengers, didn't they? Thanos with his snap. Oh my goodness. All right, I took this to a weird turn. Any other shout outs you want to give to the people?
Love to give a shout out to DJ Virgil Boggs, who spins my stuff a lot. I've got a couple of radio stations up here in Northwest Arkansas that play my stuff. Brandon Lee, he another host that takes care of me. And so, fortunately, I get that radio play, which is always, from an independent artist standpoint, a pleasure. And Dan, I'm excited to hear you're going to spin some of my new stuff Friday. I hope that your people like it, and listen anytime you and I we can get together and maybe come down there on a Friday evening and hang out and do some stuff. It'd be fun.
Well, send me the tracks. I'll put them on radiowhat.com, man.
Yeah, I'd love that. I'll definitely do that. I want to thank you for having me on too, man. I enjoyed it. I actually really like your personality. I do a lot of these little interviews sometimes, but I don't really get to laugh and visit with people. So I think you're doing a great job, Dan. So I appreciate it very much,
Man, I'm just happy to be talking to people, man. Having some real conversations with folks, man. Learning about the ins and outs. Everybody's got a story. And I thank once again Ramona for putting us together. She's a real nice lady, really nice. But all right, usually I like to finish these things off with last words for the people. This could be words to live by, something you heard a long time ago, or just whatever pops into your head at this moment in time. James Pilcher, JP the Rockstar, give the last words for the people.
Man, important right now to love each other, everybody. Everybody needs to come together. Unity is the most important thing. It's one of the things that makes this country great. And we really need to focus on our love right now, because this arguing and carrying on and stuff is not going to create any kind of solutions to any of the problems that we're having. And we're having real problems right now. And so I think that the most important thing is just to keep in mind that we got to love each other, man.
Ooh, doggy. There you have it, party people. That was fantastic. That man's a talented man. Listen to his tracks on YouTube, but he's only got the ones from like 7 months ago. To check out the 100 Proof, I guess you got to go to a live show. I really didn't get an idea. I have the 100 Proof on the Facebook, So I know how to get a hold of that. And if you check the show notes, I'll put every link that I found on JP the Rockstar and 100 Proof, the band, and even James Pilcher. If you want to tag him and add him on his personal Facebook page, go bug him, go annoy him and say, when can I come to your show? Can I get an autograph? Can I get a t-shirt? Can I get a CD? Can I get a what? Yeah. I'm sure he'd appreciate it if you go to one of his shows. And, one of his band shows. That's fantastic. It's nice that he's got his bro involved. Keep it in the family. Nothing more important than family. I like it. And his whole family is in the music biz in one way or another. I like that too. It's in the blood. It's fully in the blood, man. What a cool guy. James Pilcher, JP the Rockstar. Well branded, my friend. I looked up JP the Rockstar, and you did come up, man. You came up pretty good. So I like that a lot. Branding. It's all about branding these days. Or at least that's how you're going to get it marketed anyway. So I appreciate that. All right, JP the Rockstar. Thanks for being on the What Makes You Famous podcast. I appreciate it. And I appreciate meeting you, James Pilcher, the man behind the persona, JP the Rockstar. The What Makes You Famous podcast. That's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. Now, if you, yes, you would like to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call, 501-470-6386, or email info@radiowhat.com. That's it for me. It's KeysDAN, radiowhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.